Hello everyone, today I will be teaching you about a conic section called parabola. So a parabola is formed when a plane is parallel to one generator and is intersecting only one of its nape. So let's say we have a nape here. So as I've said, a parabola is formed when a plane is parallel to one generator and is intersecting only one of its nape. So it will be only intersecting one nape and will be formed when a plane intersects like this. So when this intersection will cause a parabolic arc, and that parabolic arc or this arc is called a parabola. So a parabola has 6 different elements or parts. So those parts are called directrix, focus, vertex, axis of symmetry, latus rectum, and focal distance. So first, let's talk about the vertex. So here, let's grab it. So the vertex is centered here at the center of the parabolic arc. So that is the vertex. Next is the focus. So the focus is any point inside of the parabolic arc. Let's say here. That is the focus. So the focus and directrix have the same distance. If let's say this thing is 3 centimeters, this directrix and focus should also be 3 centimeters. That's the focus and directrix. So keep in mind that the focus is always inside of the parabolic arc. Next is the axis of symmetry. So the axis of symmetry is the one that cuts your vertex in half. So this is our axis of symmetry. So, and next is our latus rectum. So the latus rectum is the distance between here and here. So basically the length of your arc. That is our latus rectum. Next is our focal distance. So the focal distance is the distance between our focus to vertex and vertex to directrix. Since focus and to vertex and the vertex to directrix have the same what do you call that, distance, it can be called as C. So now that you know the parts of the parabola, we will talk about equations. So an equation of a parabola has two, the standard form and the general form. So first is the standard form. So a parabola has two types of standard form. Well, technically 4, but we'll only count as 2, which is x squared is equals to 4cy and y squared is equals to 4cx. So first, let's talk about x squared is equals to 4cy. So x squared is equals to 4cy as a graph of like this, while y squared is equals to 4cx as a graph of like this. You see the difference? So if you can see on the left side is x squared, the parabola has a parabolic arc on the y, and if you see it start on y squared, the parabola will be on the x side. So this thing has two variations. First, it all depends if our the parabola depends if it opens on the right or left of the 4. So if y squared is equals to negative 4cx, the parabola will open towards the left, since as we all know that this side is the positive and this side is the negative. So same with x squared is equals to 4c. If x squared is equals to, if our 4 here is negative 4cy, our parabola will have an open on the negative side like this. So this type of standard form only happens if the vertex is at the origin. So remember that this type of parabola only happens when our vertex is at the origin. Okay. So now let's say if it's not on the origin. So if your parabola's vertex is not at the origin, your equation should be x minus h squared is equals to 4c y minus k, and y squared y minus k squared is equals to 4c x minus h. So if you can see here, you can differentiate parabolas from other conic section is that the other y, or it's either y or x that is squared. It cannot be 2, because if it is 2, then it is not a parabola. So this is the same with the other, is that the vertex is just not at the origin. So this is the origin. So if your parabola's form is this, it should not be at the origin. Let's say it's from here, so it will be like this. Okay, so if it's okay, so that's it for the standard form that is not on the origin. So now okay, so now that I've taught you about the standard form of a parabola, now I will be showing you what the general form of the parabola is. So a general form of the parabola, so the general form of the parabola is ax squared plus cx plus dy e 0, or by squared plus cn plus b1 plus e is equals to 0. So as you can see, so ax squared, so the ax squared here is for the parabolas which has a y-intercept like this, while the by squared, here is for the parabolas that have a parabolic arc at the x, like that, like this, or that. Okay, so now that I've taught you about the arcs and the basics of parabola, now let's try solving. Okay, so now that I've taught you the basic, let's try to solve this equation. So it says here, determine the equation of the parabola in standard form given its focus at 0, -7 and directrix at y equals 7 using x squared is equals to 4cy. So we're not just going to find the standard form, we're also going to graph it. So first thing first, we're going to write down the given, which is, so our focus is at 0, -7, and our directrix is at 7, using the x squared is equals to 4cy. So given that here it does not state where our vertex is, it will be stated here that, so we will know that it will be at the center of the region. So meaning this will be the equation. First things first, let's graph our equation here. So it says at 0, -7, so meaning above 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it states at 0, -7, so here, and our directrix will be at 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So right about here, let's make a line for our directrix. Okay. So we can see here that our parabola, we know that our parabola is at the origin, so here for our vertex of the origin, and as I've told you before that our focus is always going to be in the inside of our directrix, so meaning our parabola will open like this. And as you can see that our parabola is on the negative side, so if it's on the negative side, this will not be our equation. It will be x squared is equals to -4cy. And now we're going to find its standard form. So first, we're going to find c. So our c is the distance between our focus to vertex and vertex to directrix. Since I have told you before that our focus to vertex and vertex to directrix have the same length, it we can just find one of its length. So if we count it here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. The distance between the focus and the vertex is 7. So if we substitute c for 7, we will get the equation -28y. So that will be our standard form. And that is how you solve if you are given the directions and focus. Okay, so next equation. Since I've already taught you about the standard form if the vertex is the origin, now our origin is at h and k. So first let's understand the equation. Determine the equation of the parabola in standard form given its vertex at negative 9 minus 4 and directrix at x is equals to 3. Find the focus in standard form and graph the equation. So first to understand this equation, so we can see that we don't know if it's x squared or y squared. So first thing we're going to do is graph the given formula. But before that, let's write down our given. Okay, so our given is first we have our vertex at negative 9, negative 4, and directrix at x equals to 3. Find the focus in standard form. Okay, so firstly, we're going to graph this. So our vertex is at negative 9, 4. So this is x, and this is y. This is our y. This is our x. Now, our x is at negative 9, meaning here. This is the negative side and this is the positive side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our vertex is at this side, and above it, below it goes at negative 4y. So this is the positive and this is the negative side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So so our graph is right about here. So this is our vertex, which is negative 9, negative 4. And our directrix is at x is equals to 3. So here. Now, since since the distance between directrix to vertex and vertex to focus is the same, we can just find the distance between our vertex to directrix to find our focus. So if we count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the distance between our focus to vertex is also 7. So meaning we'll just add another graph. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So meaning our graph should be aligned right about here. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is make our parabola. Since as I've told you before, our focus should be inside of the parabolic arc. So meaning our parabolic arc should be like this. Now that we know how our parabolic arc open, we can determine our equation. Since our parabolic arc opens at the negative side, our equation should be, and we also know that our vertex is not on the origin. So our equation should be x minus h squared is equals to negative 4, negative 4 c 5 minus 2. So now we have done the graph Oh, I forgot to tell you before that you can also find your latus rectum, which is this. The equation for the latus rectum is 2c. Right. So now, before we find our latus rectum and anything else, let's first find our standard form. So to find our standard form, we will just substitute the given here. So as you can see, we have our vertex, which is -9, -4. So you can't just immediately insert this here. You gotta since this -9 is our h and -4 is our k. So you'll just have to substitute it. So -9, which is -9, -4. So our C here is the distance between vertex to focus and vertex to directrix. So as we have counted before, our distance was 7. So our C should be 7. Next is our Y. Our K is at -4. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is solve this equation. X plus 9 squared is equals to -4 times 7 should be 28, or -28. And next is our y. I forgot what it is here. Y negative times negative is positive, so y positive 4. Done. Now that we have our standard form, so what we have here, we have done graphing, we have done the standard form. Now focus. So our focus, you just have to find the coordinates of the focus, since as we can see here that our focus is here 1, since we have but before our focus to vertex is 7, so our focus, since if we count here 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Okay, so if we count our next to here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11. So our focus is at y -11, and from since our our vertex and focus have the same x, they will always have the same x or the same y. So as you can see, we have -9. So if we count this, since they are all aligned from our, we can see from our axis of symmetry, they should all be aligned. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So -9. That is how you find the focus. Since I know that our latus rectum is, the equation here is not looking for the latus rectum, but we can still look for our latus rectum. So if we take this equation 2c and substitute the c for the distance between focus to vertex or vertex to directrix, we will get 14. So in conclusion, the arc of your parabola should be 14 long. And that is all for this equation. Okay, so next equation. So now that I have teach you how to find the standard form and graph them, now I will be showing you how to graph and find the focus, vertex, and directrix using the equations, using a given equation. Okay, so first things first, to get our vertex, all you have to do is transpose these two. So y is equals to negative 6. So y minus 6 is equals to 0, and x plus 5 is equals to 0. So all you have to do is transpose this here. So you will get the equation y is equals to positive 6 and x is equals to negative 5. So these numbers here, that is going to be your vertex. So 5, negative 5, and 6. Okay, now that we have done that, we have found our vertex. Next thing we're going to find is our focus in directrix. So to easily find this, I would suggest using a graph. So first things first, let's graph this. So our x is equals to negative 5, 2, 3, 5, and our y is 6. Okay, so if we go at this point and this point, it will be right about here. Yes, negative 5 and 6. Okay. So as you can see, so remember that the equation for this is y minus k squared is equals to 4 4c x minus k. Oh no, h. My bad. Okay, so we can see here our 4c. So what we have to do is divide this 12 by 4 to get our c. So you just have to 12 and is equals to 4c. To remove this, you divide 4 plus the c, which is 4, 8, 12, which is 3. So c is 3. And remember that we are at a y. So meaning our parabola should be, and our c is positive, should be this. The parabolic arc should be like this. So knowing that, we will use the c to find our focus first. So we just have to count 1, 2, 3. So right about here. Yeah, that is our focus. And our directrix should be 1, 2, 3, right there. So as I have said as I have shown you, our parabola should be like this. And as we all know, that our focus should be inside of the parabolic arc. So of course, the parabola is going to be like this. To get this, this is our lato spectrum. Don't forget that, which is the formula 2c and 2c. Okay, so now that we have graphed the equation, we can now easily find our focus and directrix. So okay, let's put it down. So remember that the directrix depends on where you are facing. Okay, so let me tell you first. So, but first we will find our focus. So our focus is at positive 6y. So 6y, and x is, which is at, if we count here, 1 and 2. So it should be 2, negative 2, 6. Now for the directrix. Okay, so the directrix, you do not use coordinates. I mean, you do use coordinates, but you only use one. And since our graph is at a vertical form, we are going to use its horizontal, so which is the x. So meaning our directrix is going to be x is equals to, rather than y is equals to, because if you use y is equals to, then it will be the axis of symmetry. So if you use d is equals to x, and if we count here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, our directrix is at negative 8, and that is how you find the directrix, focus, and vertex form. Okay, so now that I have taught you on how to graph, find standard form, find the vertex, and etc., now I am going to teach you how to transform a standard form to a general form. Okay, so you can see here that I have two equations. X squared is equals to 8 and x minus 4 squared. So here we can see this is at the vertex is the origin, and here the vertex is at h and k. Okay, so this is going to be really simple, and so first things first, we're going to do number one. Okay, let's go. So number one. So as you can see here, x squared is equals to 8y. So in this equation, all we have to do is trans transpose this 8y here to make this side 0, because as I've told you, as I've teach you before, the general form is y squared or x squared plus dx plus ey plus f is equals to 0. So the side should equal to 0. So to do that, we're going to transpose this side. Since this is positive, when you transpose something from the other side, it will turn to negative. So that's for the number one. Okay, so here are some other examples. Let's say this is 5x. As you can be, so before we get to the h and k, let's try this first. So as you can see here, just same as before, but with y squared. All you have to do, y squared, transpose this to here, and as you transpose, you turn this to negative, so you equal to negative 5x is equals to 0. That is the standard form. Really simple, right? Okay, so now, okay, so this is before that. Let's say, another equation comes up where one of it is in a parenthesis. Let's say this square is equals to 4y plus 5. Let's say one has parenthesis, the other does not have. So same as here, we must equal the other side to 0. So first things first, let's do this. Now, to get this to 0, first we must remove this parenthesis. So to remove that, we must multiply 4 with this. So we inside of the parenthesis. Now 4 times y is equals to 4y, and 4 times positive 5 is equals to 220. Next, to equal everything to 0, all you have to do is transpose everything like here to the other side. So all you gotta do is x squared is equals to, I know, equal to minus 4y minus 20 equals to 0. And that is the final answer. Okay, so Now that we've finished all of that conclusion, now let's try the number 2. So as you can see here, that the vertex is at h of k because of x minus 2 and x minus 4. So let's rewrite this real quick. X minus 4 squared equals to 5. 2. So first things first, you gotta do is remove this squared. So to remove that, you just have to multiply it by itself. So x minus h minus 4 and this you just have to same as number 3 here, where you have to multiply this 5 here and outside, or distribute it to x minus 2. So let's do that. 5x minus 10. I forgot the x, my bad. Okay, so as you can see here, before you transfer it here, we first must solve this equation. We must solve this. So to solve that, all you have to do is what is called FOIL method. So a FOIL method is where you multiply each and every one. So first you multiply the first with the first, then the first with the second, then the second with the first, and second with the second. Okay, let me show you. So x times x is equals to x squared. Negative 4x, negative 4 times x is equals to negative 4x. And negative, like this. Next is negative 4 times x is equals to negative 4x, same as the other one. And negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Since negative times negative is positive, so 4 times 4 is 16. Boom. Then you can then and only then you should transpose this. So x squared. During this time, you also want to combine the like terms. So as we can see here, negative 4x and negative 4x are like terms, so you add them up. So negative 4 minus negative 4 is equals to negative 8x plus 16, 5x minus 5x plus 10. Okay, is equals to 0, don't forget the 0. Now you're going to oh my bad, this is supposed to be y. Okay, so what you want to do next is combine the like terms, which is 10. Combine the like terms and arrange them. So y squared. So what's first should always be first. Let's remember that. Or what has the highest degree number should always be first. Next is 5x. No, negative 8y. Then minus 5x. Then combine these two, which is 26. And you're done. That is how you find a standard form. Okay, so let me give you another example for better comprehension. Okay, so first step, you multiply this by itself. Oh wait, no, let's try another number. Let's say 3. And let's turn it to positive 3 to have a fun. 3, and x plus 3 is equals to distribute, so you will get 5x. Since we only did 2 here, why not change it up to positive 4? So 5 times 4 is 20. So next, second step is you do the FOIL method. So we get x squared plus 3x plus 3x. 3 times 3 is equals to positive 9 plus 5x plus 20. Next, you combine the like terms. Then, while combining like terms, you want to transpose this to the other side. So, x squared plus 6x and negative 5 and plus 9, negative 5x plus, no, negative 20. Now we combine the final like terms, which is this x squared, and arrange them. This must go first beyond this because the constant must always be last. So x squared plus 6x minus 5y. Y is this? X should be y. Minus 5y. And negative 20 plus 9 is negative 11. Is equals to 0. That is how you get the final form. I'm sorry for many mistakes. Remember, it should be x and y, not x and x. Those are just my mistakes. So that is how you transform a standard to general. Okay, so now that we are done talking about standard to general in parabola, next we will be talking about the general to standard. So first we'll have this first equation. So first things first, this is very simple. This is very simple. So in here, all you have to do is transpose the 6y to the other side, and you have the final standard form. Okay, so what if let's say the other side it has a square like this, boom, like that. You can see it now has a constant, which it does not have in here. So first thing you're gonna do is transfer both of this to the other side. So what you will be given is x squared equals to 8y plus 1. And let's get him blurry again. I'm sorry for that. Y plus 56. Okay, so what you want to do here is remove. So remember that the standard form of a parabola is x squared is equals to 4cy. So what must be left here is 4cy. That means they are not apart. Or x minus 8 squared is equals to 4cy minus 3 squared, like this. So we must turn this into this. So how do we do that? So first thing first is you gotta Okay, so we're back. So we're going to do is factor this. So what you want to do to factor it is you got to find something that you can divide by 8y and also divide by 56. So, okay, so we're going to factor this. So as I've said, that you're going to make something divided. So, okay, let's move it here. So when you factor something, you're going to remove, you're going to exit this. Since 8 can be divided by itself and to the other side, we will be using the number 8. So next, that now that you have your number, we're going to factor it. Since 8 divided by itself, no, you don't actually divide it, you just put it outside like that. Then the next thing you're going to, okay, so now that you have done this, you're going to divide 8 by 56. Also, you want to place this, bring it down here. So 8 divide 56 is 7. And you just copy this, since positive 8 divided by positive 56 divided by positive 8 is positive, and that is equals to 7. So that is how you factor. Now let's bring it down here, and that is how you solve it. Okay, now next we're going to solve number 2, which is y squared plus 6y plus 8x plus. Wait a minute. Okay, so as you can see here, y squared now has a partial of a lower variable, which is 6y, and it's same as here, 8x plus 25. So first things first is you're gonna have to, okay, so first thing you want to do, right, let's first copy the equation. First, we're going to transfer 8x and 25 to the other side. The other side. Okay, now that you have done that, we're going to place these two into a parenthesis. So, you might be wondering why I am not solving this like what we did in here, where we already done this. So you should not do that, not until you get the third variable of this equation, or the constant. So to get the constant, what you want to do is, first thing you want to do is get the 6y's number. So you get the 6y, you divide it by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is equals to 3. Then you squared it. After you square it, that is your y, or that is your constant, my bad. And since this is positive, so it should be positive 9. So, so you can see here, as I've said before, to repeat myself, you divide this number by 2 and square root it, or square it like this. 6 divided by 2 is equals to 3. 3 squared is equals to 9. Now, since that you have added 9 here, what you're going to do is add a 9 here. You understand? Since you added 9 here, you add 9 here. Now, you're going to solve the equation. Okay, so before anything, let's first solve this part of the equation. Negative 8x to negative 25 plus 9 is 16. Oh, since the negative 25 is bigger than positive 9, you copy the biggest number, which is negative, so it should be negative 16. Now, next thing you want to do here is you're gonna find its squared form. So, okay, so what you wanna do is find its perfect square. Oh no, what you wanna do is, okay, now we're back. So, what you want to do is get this to a squared form, like for example, like x minus h squared. You want this thing to turn into this. Okay, so how do we do that? So to do that, you want to find a number that when are added together is equals to 6, but when multiplied by itself is equals to 9. So that number for this equation is 3. Since if we solve it right here, plus 3 squared, so that will be our equation. Okay, as I've said before, you find something that when added by itself is equals to 6, then when multiplied by itself will equal to 9. So that is y plus 3 squared. Next, since this is okay, what you want to do, just copy this left side since it's already finished, and this side, like you will do what you did here. So next thing, since 8 can be divided by 16, so all you have to do is negative 8 parenthesis, you bring this thing outside that and copy x. Now negative 16 divided by negative 8 is equals to 2, and since negative divided by negative is positive, and that is your final equation. And that is all for the video of parabola, and thank you.